Hey everyone, Jun with the Sushi Man, and today I'll be showing you how to make Nigiri-zushi. And yes, in this case it's technically pronounced zushi, like with a Z, instead of sushi. If you're interested in knowing why, check out my short explanation in the description below. Now in this video, I'll show you step by step on how to make traditional and beautiful nigiri. And if you want to learn more like how to cut the fish or make the sushi rice, be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos. Alright, now let's jump right in. Now we'll start off with the supplies and ingredients we'll be needing. And remember, if you don't know where to find any of these things, check out our Ultimate Sushi Kit guide at ultimatesushikit.com. Alright, first we have our cutting board, even though technically I won't be cutting anything in this video. Next, we need a bowl of cold water. And this is totally optional, but some regular rice vinegar, and I'll explain this in just a sec. Of course, we'll need some sushi rice. And if you don't know how to make it, be sure to check out my How to Make Sushi Rice video. We'll also need some sort of neta, which is what we call the topping of the sushi. In this video, I'm going to be using some hamachi or yellowtail. Next, we have some wasabi, which is optional. And we'll also need a plate, or whatever you're going to be using to plate the sushi. And lastly, our handy dandy clean damp towel. And I also have my knife here, which is just going to keep me company today. Alright, before we move on, let's make our tezu, also called temizu. This is the vinegar and water mixture we use to wet our hands. Now it's totally fine to just use regular water, but traditionally, tezu is used, and that's for a couple of reasons. One, the vinegar helps keep the flavor of the sushi rice consistent, and second, it helps kill off any bacteria that we may have on our hands. Now I didn't feel the need to make washing your hands be the first step in this video, but please make sure that your hands are nice and clean before you start. And you don't have to pour too much in there. I'm probably using about 2 ounces here for maybe about 5 ounces of water. You really don't have to be too precise. Alright, time to make our nigiris. First, we want to wet our hands with the tezu. And this might sound really simple, but you have to have the right wetness to your hands in order to make this work. Too little water will make the rice stick, and too much will make everything soggy. So I dip one hand into the bowl and use that hand to spread the water onto the opposite hand. And you want to make sure to get all your fingers and also in between them. You want your hands to be wet and shiny like this, but not so much where it's dripping. And if they're too wet, just use your towel. Now I'm right-handed, so I'll be holding the fish with my left hand. And if you're left-handed, then just do the opposite. And you want to place the fish right along the base of your fingers. And you want to use your thumb to hold it in place there. So fish on the base of the fingers and thumb to help hold. Now I'm not going to get into too much detail about the hamachi here, but a lot of times, of course depending on the fish, there will be a skin side. And that's the side you typically want to be as a top when we're finished. So in order to do that, we have to make sure to place that side down. You'll see what I'm talking about. So let's make sure our hands are wet enough again, and we'll start to make our sharidama, or rice ball. Grab some rice and form it into a ball with one hand by rolling it around in your palm while applying light pressure. You kind of want to open and close your hands to compress all sides of the rice ball. Just make sure you don't squeeze it. You want to loosely spin it around until it shapes into a ball. I say a little smaller than a ping pong ball. And then we use our index finger to spread some wasabi onto the neta. And of course you can skip this step if you don't like wasabi. Next, we'll place our rice onto the fish, and then here we use our left thumb to push a hole into the rice. We do this while using our right thumb and middle finger to apply pressure from the top and bottom, just like this. And the reason why we make this hole is to create an air pocket. This helps the rice stay fluffier and has a better texture when we eat it. Now we're taking it really slow here, so our hands will probably dry out, so you just want to keep re-wetting them as we go along. Now we want to further press on that pocket using our right index finger. While we do this, apply pressure by squeezing gently with our left hand. Now I like to close this pocket by pinching the rice from the top and bottom like this. And there are many different ways sushi chefs will make their nigiris, but it's how you flip the nigiri from here that differentiates the styles. We can flip it sideways, called kotegaeshi, or flip it vertically, which is tategaeshi, or transfer from one hand to the other, called hontegaeshi, also known as the original flip. But anyways, I'll be teaching you the kotegaeshi method, which is the most common and widely used style today. So let's roll it over sideways so that the fish becomes on top. And from here, we'll use a gentle clamping technique with our right hand to apply pressure from the sides, while holding the upper part with our other thumb. Now with any Nigiri-zushi, basically we're applying pressure from all sides to form it. So this clamping movement is what shapes the sides of the nigiri, and the thumb helps with the upper part. And then from here, we want to bring the nigiri back down to the base of our fingers. But when we do this, be sure to place it so that your left thumb is able to push on the top part of the rice right here. And then we'll use a right index finger, and you can use either 1 or 2 fingers here, totally up to you. And basically, we'll apply pressure by pushing down with the thumb and also our right index, all while gently squeezing our left palm. This helps shape it from the upper part, the top, and the sides. But we haven't gotten the bottom part yet, so this is where we rotate the nigiri 180 degrees. Clockwise, counterclockwise, doesn't really matter. Just make sure again that your thumb is under the fish so that you're touching the rice. And then we do the same thing that we did before. Gently close your palm while pressing the thumb and supporting the top with your index. And then repeat the clamping technique to reshape the sides. And then another 180 degree turn and repeat the steps again. And to finish off the nigiri, I like to use my fingers to wrap the fish over the rice like this, just to make sure that the fish sits nicely on top. You sort of want to stretch the fish so that it has a nice contour with the rice, but very gently. And just like that, we're done with our first nigiri. And if you have any rice stuck to your hands, just use a bowl of water or tezu to clean it off. Alright, on to the next piece. So let me go over it slowly again. If you're right-handed like me, grab the fish or neta on your left hand, and then make the rice ball with your other hand by rolling it around in your palm. You want to apply gentle pressure by closing and releasing your hand like this. Once you've made the ball, use your right index finger to slap on some wasabi, and then place the rice right on top of it. From here, use your left thumb to press open a pocket, while supporting the top and bottom with your right thumb and middle finger. Then use your right index to push more on the pocket while gently closing your left palm. And then we close the hole by pinching the rice from the top and bottom. Now roll it over towards our fingertips so that the fish is on top. Then we take our right hand and gently clamp the nigiri from its sides. After that, we bring the piece back towards our palm while making sure to have our thumb underneath the fish, and then gently squeeze the left palm while supporting the upper part with our right index. Now rotate 180 degrees and do the same thing. And by the way, this is why it's important to wet your hands thoroughly so that you don't get little rice rents sticking to you. Alright, rotate it once more and repeat. And if the rice is still falling apart, just rotate again and keep repeating the steps until it's nicely shaped. Just don't overdo it where the rice gets too compressed. Alright, let's make sure our hands are clean and we'll move on to our last 2 pieces. And I'll make these closer to regular speed. Now I know this might feel like a lot of steps and may be a bit overwhelming at first, but practice makes perfect and you just have to keep trying. And once you get used to it, you can start to incorporate your own style and do what feels right for you. And there you go. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, let me know what other content you'd like to see in the future by commenting below. ありがとうございます。